Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, on the episode of the podcast, we are going to be talking about how to quickly edit your posts to get more sales before the year ends. In this podcast, we are going to cover so many things about why it's important to speak to your clients' struggling and striving desires. We're also going to talk about how to analyze your marketing quickly to create some really strong hooks that actually get people to buy. And then I'm going to teach you a fast shift and system that you can actually do for your social media posts starting this week. Like the second that you hear this podcast, I want you to actually edit your posts based on what I'm teaching you today because you can bring in consults not only before this month ends, but if you're listening to this in real time, before October ends in Q4, because this is the last chance to be bringing in people in 2025. And I want you to make your marketing strong. So, when we're thinking about this is kind of like an extension of last week's because last week's we were talking about all the micro moments. And we were talking about the types of people who want to buy your offer and then how to speak to pieces of times that they are struggling to get them to convert. So I want to elaborate a little bit on this and why I've decided to kind of give this angle for the podcast. This year, I have seen a huge shift in the algorithm, and I know that other people have seen it too. So, if you are just getting started with your business, a lot of times when we were thinking about the algorithm in years past and when I started my business, a lot of times people would buy from vague content. They were like, oh, yeah. Like you would say something that was kind of inspirational, and they were like, oh, that sounds really good. I haven't heard anyone talk about things in this way before. I'm going to buy from you. But in 2025, specifically now it's October of 2025, we are in what I'm going to call the AI revolution. And I love ChatGPT as much as the next girl. I actually teach my clients how to use the micro moments and the things I'm teaching you in this podcast, how to program their chat bots to outperform against their competition. However, what I've seen is that most people are posting some pretty solid content now. It used to be the kind of case that if you were a solopreneur, especially a coach, if you were just posting consistently, people weren't even posting consistently. They were just kind of like posting based on inspiration. And a lot of people might still be doing that. But if you are looking, which you might be, doom scrolling and comparing and despairing yourself against other coaches, you're not going to see just like like kind of like random, like not very good marketing, to be honest. Most coaches nowadays and solopreneurs are posting not so bad content. The content is pretty decent. And you'll see things like, okay, it's like you're not lazy, you're just overwhelmed. That sounds pretty good. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person from some relationship coaches. I've seen things like that. For the career coaches, burnout isn't a badge of honor. Pretty spicy stuff there. It sounded pretty good. General life coaches, if you weren't scared, what would you do tomorrow? Again, like thought provoking, decent stuff. A style coach, it's not about clothes, it's about confidence. If you're thinking about all these kind of coaches that you're probably seeing on your feed, what's happening is you're like, dang, that's some pretty good content here. What you need to be thinking about to really not just get through the end of the year, but actually grow through the end of the year, is you need to be thinking about how am I really compelling my audience to take action. Now, when you're listening to this podcast, your audience is twofold and it's going to shift as time goes on. So, if you've just started your business, your audience is mostly friends and family that have been following you before you started your business, and you have very few new people who have found you just based on the algorithm. Then, as time goes on, what happens is you bring more and more followers that are complete strangers off the internet that want to work with you because they've specifically sought out or seen a post of yours that is related to the type of work you do as a coach or as a solopreneur. So you might be the ways that you need to be thinking about your marketing is twofold, just like the two pieces of your audience. You need to be thinking about for those people who are your friends and family, they probably never have thought about hiring a coach. I want you to know that that's not a problem. A lot of times in a new industry, like I would consider coaching a fairly new industry, it doesn't have the street recognition that therapy does. People understand that when you go to therapy, now there is less stigma around it, and people understand that they need mental health support in order to succeed, especially if they have things from their past that they need to work through. But as a coach, people don't always know exactly what that is. And because there aren't as many regulations, let's be honest, sometimes people can call themselves a coach and they might not have different things that they actually take people through. They might not be taking their job as seriously as you. And what happens is you need to build credibility with the people that are your friends and family fast. You need to show them that investing with a coach, namely you, that you will actually create results that will give them a return on their investment. Especially because coaching prices are not only typically comparable to therapy, but sometimes even more than therapy based on the results that you're getting your people. So, what you need to do is you need to make sure that your marketing, especially for friends and family, is on creating awareness for what in the heck coaching is if they've never heard of it, and also is compelling them not only to start working with you, maybe yourself, that's how my audience converted initially, but they're also referring you to friends and family so that they, because if you think about it, every single person that's in your audience probably knows around 300 people. They know people that you could work with, especially if they're expressing struggles, because that's what everyone does. When you hang out with your friends and family, everyone vents and commiserates and is like, wow, isn't this hard? And if they know of a coach that they feel like they've vetted based on you and your just personality from the past, but more so at this stage in your life based on content, you might be getting referrals from people that you haven't seen in decades just because they see quality Instagram and just social media posts in general. The other thing is with that audience that is now a new piece of your audience, they are cross comparing you to other coaches, most likely, or other solopreneurs. They are looking at you and they're saying, what makes Megan different as a health coach than Sarah different as a health coach? What is going to make them stand out? So I think that the reason why you might be experiencing things with the algorithm and feeling like, hey, things aren't converting like they used to, is because we have access to really fast, quick copywriting with AI that is phenomenal. But now everyone is good. How do you stand out? In a sea of blue, how can you be the red dot that people say, oh, I really want to work with you because I like what you do? Now, especially if you're looking at this and you're thinking, oh my God, Megan, it's quarter 4. As I'm listening to this, I know that we're about to hit Halloween. And when Halloween hits, the rest of the year is like gone to kaput. I do not have time to do a complete overhaul on all of my marketing for the rest of the year. Or you might be thinking, I don't even have my content really understood. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the year. So for me, I really need to get a way that this, I'm hearing you. I hear what you're saying, Megs. I hear that my content needs to convert at a higher caliber than ever before, which I think first and foremost makes us rise to the occasion. And I think the best of the best are going to be the people who really stand out and create really amazing, thriving businesses. And I also know that you need to bring in some money before the crazy season and the insanity before the end of the year hits without taking a lot of time. So that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I feel like a lot of times we think that in life, in order to edit your posts, you have to go through a lot of copywriting and a lot of work, and you have a lot of things to do that make your posts convert. And that's not really the case. The thing that you really need to be doing with your content is you need to be speaking, like I mentioned last week, to micro moments, and you need to speak to something that your clients are struggling with in this moment, and then lead them to speak about what they're striving for. This honestly was a big mistake that I made this year. And I'm learning more about my content because now I'm invested in copywriting. Before I was like, I could post whatever, it's billboard marketing. And it still is billboard marketing, but I need to go, especially as I'm scaling to seven figures. And for those of you that have ambitions to do that within one calendar year, like I would like to do, what you need to know is that you need to be the cream of the crop, the best of the best in order to get your people to convert. So, for those of you that are thinking about creating really strong marketing, this is going to go for you if you are doing ads or if you have ambitions of growing and wanting to do ads beyond the organic marketing. One of the things that I felt like is I wanted to speak to what everyone was striving for and speaking to like the organized business where they want to be by the end of the year. And I got some funny feedback from my ads coach, and she was saying that, okay, yes, that's true. And we want to be this like incredible like support system that's luxuriously supporting them. But right now, especially with the situations that have been going on with the economy, people don't want a nice to have. They don't want a luxurious support system. They want to focus on something that's going to give them a return on their investment and something that feels like it is a I need this in this moment. So instead of just speaking to the airy fairy, which I'm very good at doing, this is no, like, I'm not trying to criticize anybody, but I'm saying this with so much love. I had to change this, and you should probably change it too. Because within my marketing, I was kind of just focusing on, like, yeah, like, just like what I was saying before. It's like, as a health coach, it's like, you're not lazy, you're just overwhelmed. Like, that sounds really good to me. But now our marketing needs to step up its game, and that's what I want you guys to do too, which means that you need to speak to very specific struggles that your clients are experiencing in that moment that make them want to pay you thousands of dollars. For instance, when I'm selling my programs, marketing systems, which is designed to get people to 10K, and then scaling systems, which is to go from 10 to 100K, what happens is if I want to talk to them and I'm like, systems will make your life easier. It's going to get you more income in less time. That sounds good. But everyone's like, of course, I want more income in less time. I'm hearing 1,000 other business coaches in my feed telling me the exact same thing. Why are you different? Sure, you say systems, but I don't really, you're just another person in my feed. And I want to be, I know that I'm different. I know that you are different than the other people on your feed. All of us have unique skills and talents, but you need to stop somebody's scroll and make them listen to be like, no, systems are something that you have completely never considered before. This is going to change the game. And the way that you do that is by giving really, really specific scenarios. So, instead of just talking to like your general struggles, like you wish your business could make money, but it's not. Like that's the way I was doing my marketing before, and it was good and it got me to $1 million in 5 years. Quality stuff. And I want to make 1 million in 1 year. So we got to switch up our tactic. And I noticed that like every one of my clients needs to switch this up, regardless of whether you have made money in your business or not. So what we want to do is you want to speak to a specific struggle. So instead of just saying you really want your business to make money, I'm like, how, when I'm thinking about my clients, I'm like, that consult drought that you're experiencing and that fear of somebody canceling a consult the second they book is not something that's healthy and it's not something that's going to help you hit six figures. Do you see how clear that is? Do you see how I'm like, oh, this is the reason why you want to work with me? I so now for me, when I'm thinking about my clients, I am speaking to very, very specific points. And like my ads coach said, she was like, would you rather pay for an appendectomy or a nose job? One is a need. One is something that you are going to schedule a consult for immediately and or rush to the hospital in an appendectomy situation. And you're going to make sure that you get that taken care of. That's what you need to do with your marketing. Especially think about your audience right now. They are more frazzled than ever. They are freaking out about the end of the year. They do not want another thing on their plate. They need something to alleviate the burden in their lives. And if you make anything sound very, very high in the sky, like, oh, it's a nice to have, you're not going to get people to book consults by the end of the year. So we really have to get you, I want you to get sales from just editing your content quickly this month. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first, if you're thinking about quickly editing your post. And let's say you've got your post for this week already written. You could even go to your last post of the week. I want you to take a look at your post, and I'm going to read you some those like vaguish, airy posts, and then I'm going to read you the way that I would rewrite it to make it stronger. So if you were a health coach and you were like, you're not lazy, you're just overwhelmed. That's good, but here's how we want to make it even more specific. You promised you'd start, and I wrote these out, actually using the help of chat. So you can make it stronger by using AI too, but you have to be very, very specific, which is why I teach my clients how to program their bots if they are using AI to make sure that their content is stronger. So instead of saying you're not lazy, you're just overwhelmed, you say you promised you'd start eating better by Monday, but it's Thursday and you've ordered takeout 3 times this week. What does that do? When you hear that, you want to hire a health coach. Why? Because you are seeing a scenario that is a problem and you know that eating better is a priority for you. And you could make it even stronger by talking about like you don't want to be hiding behind somebody in a picture at the Christmas party. I can help you. And that's what I mean by talking to the struggling point, but then immediately going to what they're striving for. You don't just want to leave someone in the ditch like, yeah, what you're doing is not it. The end. But sign up to work with me. You want to be like, I have specific tools that will help you to make sure that you have an alternative and you never just go and eat takeout for the week. Oh, hold on. Then what we want to do from there is you want to think about that relationship coach that says you're not asking for too much, you're just asking the wrong person. Instead of that, imagine that you're like a dating coach and you said you reread your text for the third time, wondering if you were too much because he still hasn't replied. Do you see that that's like a very specific problem that you're like, I am speaking to your struggle? These are called the hooks. And the reason why I made this like how to edit your content quickly is 80% of people only read the first sentence and they won't move on unless they see it's good. So you want to make that first sentence strong. And if you want to just quickly edit your post, I want every single post for every single person that listens to this podcast, anyone that's on my email list, I want you to make your posts just look at that first sentence and do a complete overhaul to speak to a specific struggle that they're experiencing, and then make the rest of your post about what they're striving for and how you can help them. So instead of being like, and a way you can make that even stronger is relating it to the season of year. So you reread your text for the third time this morning, wondering if you're too much because he still hasn't replied. Here's something that will help you get a date before Friendsgiving. Do you see how, and the thing about context that the human brain is like, context, it's too much, it's too hard. I don't know if they're even gonna go to Friendsgiving. What if they're going to see their in-laws instead? Context makes what you're saying relevant in some capacity. So even though I like if I was thinking about being a career coach that's saying burnout isn't about a badge of honor, and then the scenario, the better hook would be you cried in the bathroom at work again and told yourself it's just a bad week, but every week feels like a bad week now. Do you see how much stronger that is? And again, you can make it stronger by saying it's like you don't want to finish 2025 like you have every other year with a job that you hate. Here's something to help. Do you see how I'm saying that, like, hey, you're struggling? That makes somebody stop their scroll. Maybe they didn't cry in the bathroom. Doesn't matter. They know they're unhappy. This gives them a scale of how unhappy they are. And then if they're asking you more questions, they're like, hey, I'm not like, to that point of burnout, but I just feel really stressed and I want to change. Then at least you're creating a conversation. You're moving people towards a consult. You are showing them the value of having a career coach instead of just giving them a vague reason to hire you. For a general coach, if you weren't scared, what would you do tomorrow? Inspirational, but it's giving cat poster. We don't want you to give a cat. You don't want you to be the cat poster for your audience because cat posters are cheap. Your offer is expensive. You are going to be working with somebody for a long period of time. They don't just want a cheerleader. They don't want to pay thousands of dollars for someone to say, "Good job." You can not it. They want to pay somebody that they actually feel like they're going to change their life with. That's why they hire a life coach. So, say you brought the course, bookmarked the podcast, and made the vision board, but you're still stuck in the same place. Don't let 2025 be an. Don't let 2026 be another rendition of 2025 and before. Let's make this year something different. That makes people say, I have made a vision board every year. I am seeing that the same things are on my vision board and nothing is happening. Maybe it's about dang time that I hired a life coach. The last one about a style coach. It's not about clothes, it's about confidence. Sure, that's a nice to have. Everyone's like, yeah, I of course want to be more confident. Seems good. But that's not going to get them to pay you thousands of dollars. That hook represents you paying somebody thousands of dollars. The quality of that hook will be the thing that gets people to book a consult and not. And the hook can be things that it's the first sentence um of your caption. Thank you, Brain. It could also be if you do a Canva post, that's the first thing that they're going to see when they're scrolling. So you want to make it strong. And it also could be something if you choose to do short form videos like Reels or TikTok or YouTube Shorts, it can be what's called text overlay. And that goes over another video, which will also make people stop their scroll. That's the goal. Friends, if you want to make more sales using social media, you have to stop people scroll. You do that with the hook. And that's how you can edit your posts to actually get more sales because you're going to be stopping the scroll. People don't buy from people that are another person in their feed. They want somebody that's compelling enough to stop their scroll, creating an arg like again, all these things are good things, but I'm not going to hire a style coach just because I'm like, it's not about the clothes, it's about the confidence. I'm like, sure it is. Scroll, 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 scroll. Cat videos are more compelling than that. You need to be more compelling than a cat video for people to actually make real change. You want to say something that like gets them to think a little bit. Like you're staring at a closet full of clothes and but still feeling like nothing fits who you are anymore. It's like taking valuable time in the morning is not going to get you to taking valuable time to swipe through your hangers is not how you actually want to be spending your time. This is something that I can do that will help, or working with me can help. Okay. And I want you guys, so first and foremost, I want you to analyze those hooks. Like I mentioned, Canva, first sentence, text overlay. Those are three ways that you can get strong hooks that can stop people scroll. If it's not clear enough, if it's not talking to me on, oh, you need to hire me as your people will not. People will not book their consults for you if you're a nice to have. You need to get somebody to be like, wow, I'm compelled to take action and actually book a consult. And that's what I want you guys to be doing. Then the fastest shift or system that you can make in your marketing this week is, like I said, I want you to go through all of those hooks. And that's the first thing that people read. The second thing that people read is not the body. They actually, and the body meaning the actual words after the hook, that first sentence, they don't care. If they think about, and I mean, I have ADHD, you guys know. I'm like, if I am scrolling through, I'm not going to in depth reading somebody's posts. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to read this whole thing. My eyes are going to what is like capturing me as I go through. But the second thing that all human beings look for is what? Something called a call to action, or as I like to call it, compel to action, a CTA. And if you are not fully booked right now, I do not want to see a single post of yours between now and the end of the year until you get fully booked that does not say in the call to action, book a consult. I don't care if it is just an inspirational post. Tell people, P.S., book a consult. Book a consult. Here's what happens on the consult. We'll talk about where you are now, where you want to go, and if I would be a good support system for you. Whatever you need to say. But the reason why people are not getting consults, they might have the strongest freaking hooks ever, and they finish it by like, let's make 2026 your year. Bye. Like, what? It's like, we need to do better, guys. We need to tell people I'm not here on your feed to be an influencer. I am inspiring you to take action, not just an inspirational moment. So you want to be creating a stronger version of you in their field, in their feed that's saying, hey, book a consult with me, book a consult with me, book a consult with me. How we get started is, hey, haven't you guessed? Book a consult. You want to be pushing people towards a consult. Remember, people only see 13% of what you post. And I betcha that many of you who are listening to this podcast, which is not, this is not all a negative thing at all, but maybe you have only posted 100 times this whole year, maybe less. That means that people have only seen 13 of your posts ever. You need to make it statistically inevitable that people actually book consults with you. They need to know that's their next step, especially if your audience is mostly friends and fam who have never heard of a consult in their life. I never heard about another consult besides with coaching until working with my wedding planner. But even like other people, they didn't call it consults. I didn't know I was going into a sales call. So you need to make sure that you are creating a drive and making people understand that you get started working with me by booking a one on one call with me. And those are the things that get people to stop their scroll. Me talking about, is your husband asking you if your business is ever going to make money? If so, you need to read this because this is what will help your business actually make money. If you are panicking because another consult no showed and that was your only consult for the whole month, consult droughts can be fixed by this thing I'm going to teach you. If you're like, if you're doing a freebie every single month and they're not converting, they will never convert without this tool that I'm going to teach you. If you have gotten zero clients from social media, I'm going to teach you what helped me make 1 million on social media in less than 5 years. If you are chasing the algorithm and looking for the next trending reel, trending audio with and doing an awkward forced reel, you do not need to go viral in order to make a lot of money on social media. Let me show you why. Do you see how much more compelling that is? Do you see how that's something that people actually want to book a consult for? And then if I'm like, book a consult, book a consult, book a consult, book a consult, then people will actually sign up. Now, because I've gotten bigger, because I now sell what is called one to many offers, which feel free to listen to old podcasts if you haven't heard that one. But because I have marketing systems, my low ticket program for the beginners who are making 0 to 10K, and for the people who want to scale and scaling systems that are going from 10 to 100K, I now am selling and building brand awareness for those offers. So every single PS for every single post that I do is either getting people to listen to my podcast or sign up for one of the two programs. That is literally balloons for that if you're watching the video live. But that is literally what gets people to work with me now. And if you're at that stage of your business, that's what will get people to work with you too. So, just as a recap, if you want to edit your posts to get more sales before the year ends, you need to speak to struggles and then hint how you're going to help them strive for more. You need to analyze strong hooks to make your marketing stronger and create a fast shift and system for every single post you do. Have what? A strong call to action that speaks to their desires and needs so that you can sign a consult and book a client before even October ends if you're listening to this in real time. Now, as always, with these kinds of podcasts, I like to offer you a worksheet. And for the last couple of podcasts, I've been talking about scaling systems and the mastermind that I run. So, these next series is going to be all about ways to help you, even if you are not in one of my paid programs. And I know that listening to this podcast is already, you're like, I'm jotting down notes, Megan. I'm thinking about stuff. And I actually offer a free worksheet that goes along with this podcast that you can use to have a way to edit your posts a lot faster. And I'm going to include a link for that in the show notes so you can get a chance to get a really clear understanding of like, oh, this is what my people are looking for. This is what they're buying. And that's what we're going to be focusing on for the next couple of podcasts. So just get ready for it. It's some good stuff here. And of course, if you want to take this work to the next level, even though the mastermind is closed for now, join marketing systems and I can help you make sure that you finish this year stronger and we can look at your plan so you're not ghosting the people of the gram even though you have to go trick or treating. You're going to schedule that stuff out way in advance and still have people coming in before you even go trick or treating. So, I want you guys to be thinking about this. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next episode.